If you could hold your side, I'm gonna hold my side, and I'm simply gonna go through the back.
Now, should we, at this point, to make it easier, turn the bars one way or the other?
So which way, want me to do this side first or that side?
Yeah, go ahead and do that side.
All right.
So now what do you want me to do here?
Just actually nothing. Just make sure I don't do anything stupid.
Okay. So now Luke is going to go ahead and put the bodywork in place in this mirror receiving area, and then from underneath use the Sharpie to go ahead and put our two either dots or circles, depending on which way you want to mark it. Circle's much better because it's a broader area and you can see it easier than just a dot. So those will go first. Okay, and they're done.
All right,
so at this point now, we'll go ahead and turn the bars the other way.
You just want to, if you look on the bottom, you'll see where the recess is.
Exactly.
And you want to put that recess right on there.
Okay, so there, that's correct. Nice big circle. Okay, I think we're good.
All right, so let's drill it.
Now, so we need to unpin it from the sides.
Yeah.
Should we unbolt it at the bottom at this point so we can push it forward?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay.
Probably do that by hand, no? Okay. See, this is where people mess up because they want to cut corners and do exactly what they're not supposed to do. And most people would try and just drill it directly from there. Then you end up messing up your fairing stay with the drill bit, or you end up breaking drill bits and hitting yourself in the face. Not a fun time. So just take your time and remove the bodywork from the motorcycle. Alrighty, so after we've drilled the upper and the proper mounting holes, we've already gone here, and I'm going to go ahead and do this side and make sure that I'm putting it through the hole that, a little bit of a...
Tighten your bolts and nuts first. Well, that didn't sound too good, did it?
Right. And there you go. So now we have the upper secured on the motorcycle. And you've done 95% of the work here. Can you help me put on the lower and see if everything matches the way it's supposed to go?
Okay.
I'm going to do this side first, all right, Dave?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, get back up.
That's one. Two.
You're in?
Yeah, I'm in on this side. Our next step is to place the tail onto our subframe. As you can see, this is a race bike, so this subframe is missing the O2 sensor wires, the charcoal canister, which is on this side, and other things like the locking mechanism for your seat. These are all things that will have to be removed for a race bike. The bodywork will fit in most cases with all those things on it. But it's just recommended you remove them anyway. Let's try and give it a dry fit and make sure that all the places where you can drill actually meet up with the subframe. And we have ourselves a right on the money fit. Holes here, tabs are right on the subframe, and these two holes are ready to go.
Now, for obviously the guys that are fitting for the first time, there are some almost marks here where there's curvature to the subframe. So you're bringing it almost all the way, right?
Yeah,
either
all the
up
way
to that or just past it even.
Right. Another good way to make sure you're doing it properly, just like Dave was saying, is the stock bodywork on this bike, for example, has some other of those grommets that I was talking about earlier here.
Where the bodywork's fixed.
You can use those. Nobody really does, because on the stock bodywork, the tail is a three-piece tail, and you actually take this side and this side. Right. Obviously, since this is a one-piece, it's probably not recommended to be pulling only on one side. As flexible as it is, a tail has to be a little bit sturdier than the rest for holding on to your bike when you're putting it on a stand. So everything looks like it matches, so let's go ahead and drill the tail holes.
Okay.
So now that we've test fitted and drilled the holes on the tail, we want to make sure that the tail is really tight on the subframe. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten the bolts.
Again, doing it by hand because we're pretty much test fitting at
Right.
this point.
This
even though
still
this
has
is all
to be
we're
sent to
gonna
the
use.
painter, so you
Yeah.
want to be able to take it off easily. And the tail is on really sturdy.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
that's going nowhere.
It's not going anywhere. And like I said, you want it to be really sturdy so you can grab onto the motorcycle when you're putting it on a stand.
Okay.
And this is going to do the job quite well. You can choose if you want to put some bolts through here. I don't really think it's necessary since you're going to have a seat over here. So this little play here will
That'll
not be
gone.
happening.
Yeah, because the seat will sit in
Yeah.
here. And the seat anchors under these two pins right here, so it's just going to push down.
Exactly.
There'll be no flex in this at all, no
At
matter
all,
what
yeah.
speed you're going. Now we went ahead and put the front fender in by simply folding it together and working it gently past the forks, so we now got it in a position for dry fit. So there's a couple things we need to pay attention now, right, Luca?
Yeah, correct, Dave. Putting on a fender is very, you have to be very meticulous in doing so because you want to make sure that wherever you end up drilling your holes, although they're already marked, you could always drill it a little too low or a little too high. And what you want to watch out for is front tire rub, and you want to make sure you're going to be able to put in a tire warmer, or make sure that rocks can safely go from one end to the other instead of taking your fender off.
Yeah.
I recommend about a 1/4 inch space between the tire and the fender. That seems to be the winner in my book.
So almost a knuckle.
Yeah, almost a knuckle, yeah.
Okay.
And that'll just clear everything.
Sure.
And that's that. You just want to make sure that it lines up perfect. And in this case, I'm lined up on my side.
Yep, we're good here.
And
now,
as you-
which hole would you start? Which way would you start? The front two? Or?
I would do just one of the fronts
Okay.
because then you can pivot this off of that hole.
So you do the bottom front.
Do bottom front, so you could pivot it off, and then you could do the
okay.
rears if you want. If you don't want to do the rears, you just do both fronts. But this way, you can ensure that it does
Sure.
everything you want it to do.
Almost using the same principle as hanging the bodywork on the spike.
Exactly.
Then you can
Exactly.
get this where you want it. All right, so now we're going to take this out. Go ahead, drill the lower.
Okay.
And now you're going to flex this and drill it in place.
I could probably drill it in place. It's flexible enough for me to do that without cracking. Once again,
Okay.
another one of those
Yeah.
reasons why you want flex in the bodywork.
All right, one drill.
All right, that works.
Step number 5 again.
Step number 5. It tends to be the universal step for almost any screws on these motorcycles.
Now, would you start drilling just a hair below center in this case? If you want, especially if you're looking to raise it for tire
Right.
warmers.
You would. That is a very good point, Dave. However, it does match up right where you want it, leaving about a little
Okay.
more than a knuckle. So I was actually looking at it before we drilled it.
All right, so in
you
this
want to do
case,
that? That side?
in this case with your bodywork, there's no reason to do that. Go ahead and locate the bottom right in
Exactly.
the middle.
I'm going to go ahead and get some screws while you drill that.
There we go. As long as it's loose, right?
Right.
So we can pivot it if we need.
That's exactly right, yeah.
What's the next step?
Well, the next step is to make sure that you have enough clearance in the back,
Okay.
which we do. So we're done. Bodyworks mounted.
So at this point then, just finish off the other two
Yeah.
holes in the front. Make sure that the back of the fender has enough rise in it and your knuckle joint is fine there.
All right.
And as you would say at home, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, we're done. We got good clearance on both sides. That's perfect.
Excellent.